Morning and welcome and hello to all the new subs that have joined us in the past couple of days, and of course hello and thank you to all the subs who have been with me since day one, especially Aaron the Relentless, because apparently he feels he's chopped liver because I haven't said hello to him. So hello, Aaron the Relentless. It's 8:30. It's the 18th day of July 2022. It's 64 degrees and muggy. It was raining. Which means we're going to have a very muggy day here in Site B. Always fun. Look, I don't mind heat. I love being hot as much as the next lizard. But muggy? Bleh, just why? All right, it's Monday, which means it's time to take a look at what's going on in the world of tabletop role-playing, if anything has happened that is of any interest that doesn't involve, I don't know, stuff. There has been some teases, as we have mentioned, regarding what's going on with Dungeons & Dragons 2024 and the redesign and how it's all going to change, and everything you know about 5th edition, you might as well just whatever. So we do know that there's going to be an update soon from Perkins and Crawford, but as to that, we don't know when. With Comic-Con and Origins and everything else coming up, I would have guessed pretty soon. We've had a preview of the Spelljammer ships, which we went through the other day, talked about how terrifying they looked and how my theory that Spelljammer is actually a space horror Saturday morning cartoon. We'll see how that plays out or not, but I'm just tossing it out there. Spelljammer, Saturday morning cartoon. We also know that they did the first of 4 adventures that went up on D&D Beyond called Spelljammer Academy. I was going to do a thing about it, but, you know, I felt like if I talked about the Spelljammer Academy thing on D&D Beyond, I'd just be complaining about all the things you can't do with it, you know, and I don't know. I have high hopes for Spelljammer. I am cautiously optimistic. Of course, I was cautiously optimistic about Witchlight, and that turned out to be a disaster. I was cautiously optimistic about Strixhaven, and Strixhaven turned out to be one of the biggest disasters of 5e. I was cautiously, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic about Spelljammer, but we'll see. It'll probably suck. We mentioned before that Level Up is, I guess, what they're calling it. I don't know what they're calling it. We've got this thing where Roll20 and DriveThruRPG has merged their forces into one united money-making scheme. We talked about that. We've talked about, you know, Drive-Thru and its censoring and how I feel about the censoring in relation to, like, Pundit and Red Room and especially Venger. So yeah, what does this mean for the future? Well, unless they actually do something to improve Roll20, I actually think it's going to make it more clunky. But isn't it great? Now you're going to have this service for Roll20 where Drive-Thru can show you ads and get your data, and you can just click and get the PDFs, and you can buy them. Yeah. We have the Ennies nominees were up. And I have talked about this before. I've gotten a lot of shit for talking about this. Apparently a lot of people don't like the Ennies, and I don't know, for some reason I'm a bad person for talking about it. And, you know, awards are stupid. Let me look at my awards. I don't feel they're stupid. I feel I've earned every award I've gotten. But apparently they're stupid. Another one I heard, which was ridiculous, of course, is that the Ennies are prejudiced against Dungeons & Dragons. We talked about that the other day. We're going to talk about it again real quick. The Ennies are prejudiced against Dungeons & Dragons. There are 22 separate titles nominated for Ennies this year that are 5e products, including one for Best Product and one for Best Writing. One of which, of course, is the Tal'Dorei Campaign Guide from Mr. Mercer. So there are 22 5e products that are nominated for Ennies this year. So it's not that the Ennies are prejudiced against Dungeons & Dragons. They're just prejudiced against Wizards of the Coast. Now, you would think with all the money that Wizards of the Coast has and all the talent that they, be able to earn themselves a spot, but either they don't want a spot or the Ennies still matters enough that they don't think anything Wizards of the Coast has made is worth their while. Somebody said, how dare a product like Laser Ponies get nominated, but Strixhaven not get nominated? Well, Strixhaven is horribly written, and it was horribly done, and it has caused so much strife amongst the role-playing community. And at its heart, the Ennies was originally, all about independent games and small games. So Laser Ponies is addressing the current desires of the publishing world, or at least that's what people think. It's a small press. If Wizards of the Coast wanted to be up there, they could either A, create product that was worthy of being up there, or B, just spread some goodwill and some of that, sweet Hasbro money and earn themselves a spot. But just we're looking at just what the industry feels, then yeah, I'm sorry. Strixhaven is not as interesting and as good and as well written as Laser Ponies. And if you're just saying shit like, well, the Ennies are prejudiced against D&D, no, literally 3 of the 4 products nominated for Judges Spotlight are 5e products. 2 of the products for Best of the Year are 5e products. It's just they don't like Wizards of the Coast. So, what does that say? Also, what was the other one? Oh, yeah. The Ennies are prejudiced against anything that is a financial success. And the Oscars are prejudiced against anything that is a financial success. You'll never see a financial successful film get nominated for an Oscar, unless, of course, it's Lord of the Rings or Avatar or Titanic. And as for, you'll never see a financially successful product get nominated for an Ennie. Call of Cthulhu. Yeah. Pretty financially successful. Dune. Pretty financially successful. Modifius has announced the 2D20 Summer of Gaming. The 2D20 system is getting an SRD. I guess they're going to start accepting people to be able to write stuff for it. They're looking like they're going to do some kind of partnership. There's a contest for Modifius Game Masters coming up. That's interesting to know. Steve Jackson is in the thing again. I guess he's decided to come out of whatever hole he has been hiding in for the past couple years and start posting some very cringy letters. So he's got a new one up about how paper prices have increased and how it's going to affect the print-on-demand world. Yeah. There is a humble bundle of Shadowrun 6th edition up. We'll talk about that when we go over the Shadowrun and the bundles for the day. God, I need more caffeine. My brain's not working. Who am I kidding? We all know I don't have a brain. So I guess the big controversies are these really controversies? And are we making a mountain out of a molehill controversies? But I guess the big controversies are, of course, Roll20 and DRPG teaming up, and the Ennies. I still vote for the Ennies. I still think it matters. Maybe it doesn't matter as much as it used to be. But I'm still gonna rub it in anybody's face who says the Ennies, and D&D is like, dude, 22 5e products, including Best Product of the Year and Best Writing of the Year, are nominated for Ennies. So it's not that they're prejudiced against 5e; it's just they're prejudiced against Wizards of the Coast. What was it here? The Oscars do not recognize financially successful films. Avatar, Lord of the Rings, Avengers, Titanic. Yeah, all financially successful films, all recognized by the Oscars. And the Ennies don't recognize financially successful product. Call of Cthulhu. That's pretty fantasy, financially successful. It's just that the Ennies don't recognize Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, so that's it for the news. If any of this stuff is stories you want me to follow up on, I'm sure I'll talk about it more during the week. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Help me hit that elusive 1,000 subs by, I don't know, end of the year. And of course, as always, looks like it's about to rain again. Stay safe and stay off my land. Oscars don't recognize financially successful. Get off my land, you idiot.